Now, 10 years ago, Triona Holden was living life in the fast lane, really. She felt like she had it all, a successful career, 2 lovely daughters, and she was travelling the world as a TV reporter.
Then it all changed. Triona was diagnosed with a very rare condition. It's called lupus. It's a condition where the immune system attacks your own body, and Triona is with us now, together with Dr. Dawn Harper, and it's no exaggeration, Triona, to say it was life-changing for you. Was it ever life-threatening?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely life-threatening. It's actually, I would say that it's actually more common. It's not rare, but the problem is it's not recognised and diagnosed. It's something that people need to learn about. It's actually, you know, there's over 60,000 people in Britain, for instance, who have it, which is an awful lot. So initially,
doctors think it's what, or you think it's what?
Well, in my case, I was filming in Romania in the orphanages, doing a special report for the BBC, and I picked up a virus, just kept working. You know, on a BBC budget, there's no time to be ill, is there? So I kept on working, and came back to England, and I had a pain in the back of my eye, and I was doing a piece to camera in a supermarket in Sainsbury's, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do the piece to camera. The pain was so much, and taken to hospital. Thought I had a brain tumour. They discovered it was something called posterior scleritis, which is also autoimmune and rare. And then I gradually just got more and more ill. And it was a team at St Thomas's who spotted it.
So it was about 2 years, wasn't it?
It took 2 years.
You actually got that.
And the awful thing about lupus, it's called systemic because it affects any part of your body. So things were happening to me, and I was thinking, I can't get up the stairs. You know, I'm normally, you know, feisty, but I couldn't get the stairs. Couldn't pick my children up, who were very young at the time. You know, 9 and 4, and just that terrible feeling of when you're in bed, you know that feeling, well, you probably don't, but when you're lying there and you feel like an elephant sitting on you because you just can't move, and your brain's saying, let's get on and do this.
Well, for someone like you, you've already said, you know, oh, well, I just carried on, I was busy. I'm sure there were probably, in hindsight, I'm sure you'll look back now, and there were probably lots of symptoms, lots of warning bells that you, as a career woman, and particularly women, I would think, when we're busy, you put it down to something else, or you think, oh, I'll be okay, or the weekend's coming. Now you look back, do you think, if you'd have stopped and really listened to your body, you'd have realised how ill you were sooner?
Probably. I mean, I still, to be honest, all these years on, I'm still rubbish at dealing with it. You know, like when I go home from here, I'll probably have to collapse in a heap because I'll have given my batteries. You know, I used to have, when I was the news reporter, I had a huge battery and I'd race around, whereas now my battery's really tiny. Yeah. And we do ignore it. That
question that Ruth asked Dr. Dawn Harper, sitting there listening to all of this, would it have made any difference if Triona had realised what she was suffering from? Can this be treated?
Well, I think the thing is, it can't be cured as such at the moment, and that's mainly because we don't really know what causes it. We know the kind of things that influence it and make it more likely, so it's more common in women. There is definitely a genetic predisposition to the problem, but for some people it can be triggered, for example, by a virus, so your story would be quite classic. But like all things in medicine, you need, once you know what causes whatever it may be, that's part way to finding the cure. And at the moment, what we do with lupus is manage it. I think that's a fair thing to say. Absolutely. So it's a case of managing the symptoms, and the common symptoms, I guess, are this absolute fatigue. I think, you know, it's quite dramatic when you meet someone like you, who obviously was running around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and they just physically can't. People feel absolutely shattered. How can you test
for it then? You see, because a lot of people will say it's a symptom of the modern age, isn't it? You know, I'm so run down, I'm so stressed.
Symptoms, it sounds like.
How can you actually test to find out if that is lupus?
Part of it is the clinical picture, and often you find that you've got something called Raynaud's, where you get very cold hands, you can't cope with drops in temperature, and joint pains, particularly in the hands and the feet. But there are blood tests that you can do looking for particular antibodies. Triona mentioned the word autoimmune, and the whole condition really is a problem with the immune system. Now, our immune systems are designed to protect us, but when you develop an autoimmune disease, your immunity starts attacking yourself. So
it's like a self-allergy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And lupus, which is also called SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, the systemic word basically says it can attack all sorts of parts of your body. So it's not just your joints, it can be your skin, it can be your heart.
So how bad did it get for you, Triona? How ill did it make you?
What is the Triona Holden story? Because you know, some people will recognise you from television as a reporter, and you presented news as well.
That's right, yeah.
So you were living out your decline on camera, as it were.
In a way, yeah, and I became so unwell I couldn't broadcast, and it tore my life apart, really. My elder daughter Tallulah had to sort of take over the mother role, And so she looked after Aurora, the younger one, and my relationship broke down, and I became very, very unwell and almost died a couple of times. And but then they found what it was, they treated it, and I've sort of come back from that. And I met someone new 7 years ago, got married, and he encouraged me to follow art, because I'd never had 5 minutes to sit down and do my art. So
Well, it was in hospital, wasn't it?
It was a girl.
Paints.
We all got so bored with it because illness is boring, especially from when you've got it. And so the girls brought in their sort of like watercolours, and they started painting. And I got bored, so I started painting too. And all those people, it's like people, it's like you're a child again. Oh, this is good.
Yes.
And so I followed that through. And with my husband's encouragement, I sort of went back to college, retrained. I've just graduated from Chelsea, so I'm a Triona BA at the moment, and I've become an artist, and I have a website, and I sell my work, and I've got exhibitions coming up. I had a piece in Tate Modern.
Oh, hello.
Where do you find it? I mean, here we see one of your pieces here. I mean, where do you, very nice
Very good,
too.
yeah.
Very, very
Thank
nice.
you,
You should
thank
put
you.
that in a can of fizzy drink. On the side of a racing car, I think, or something like that. But where do you find the energy? How do you find the energy to do that?
I think my art is a way of expressing my anger about what I've lost.
Interesting.
I really do. I think that, and a lot of my work has an open mouth in it, which is a bit weird, a bit like Monk, the sort of scream and that. And I think that's coming from within me, and a lot of it also revisits the wars I covered, and the things I couldn't say as Triona Holden from the BBC, I now say as Triona the artist.
Could
It's
you imagine-
amazing you've
could you ever-
reinvented yourself,
Yeah,
isn't
could you
it?
ever imagine yourself going back to the life you had? Would you have the energy? Would you be able to do that? Or that's
Absolutely not,
This is
no.
the new Triona.
Yeah, I poodle up to my studios up at Euro Art in Tottenham, and I have a chaise longue. So when I'm tired, I just sit back,
Yeah.
and then. But actually, joking apart, I do have to sleep and rest in the day, and then when I've had the rest, I recharge the battery a bit, and I get working again. It's a wonderful thing to do, though. To actually, I'm really fortunate that I have had this chance.
Yeah.
And the health, that the medications, I'm on steroids, I'm on a fistful of drugs every morning, but it keeps me going.
Well,
As Dawn said,
the
it's
thing
you have to manage it, don't
Yes,
you?
and-
Exactly, she's exactly right.
And
Dawn.
what I see totally different from the Triona Holden that I remember, of course, I see how it's affected your hair. Is that a normal byproduct of this condition?
Yeah. Well, this is my natural colour. I let it come through. Do you not like it?
They wouldn't have you doing that in the BBC now. You wouldn't be on screen with that.
There'd be letters.
There would be letters.
The letters, absolutely.
So people are going to listen to this. I know somebody who suffers from this, and it took a long time to diagnose as well. What is the next step? You see, I think, especially mentioning the fatigue, a lot of people will be quite worried about this. And what should they do, Dawn?
Right. First thing to say is that you were right when you said fatigue is incredibly common, and I'd like to say very reassuringly to most people that are fatigued out there, you haven't got SLE. That said, your doctor can't do anything for you unless he knows that you're struggling. And if you really are struggling beyond with fatigue, with joint pain and so on, pop and see a GP. They will do some blood tests. Most times, I do a lot of testing people for tired all the time, and I do a run of blood tests. Most of them will come back completely normal, and it is just a reflection of the fact that your body is saying, do you know what, you're overdoing it.
And if you are worried about it, there will be more information on our website. That's itv.com/this morning. But as Dawn
Triona,
said,
thank
don't
you very
struggle
much
on.
indeed. Very
Thank you.
interesting, and thanks for making us aware of that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
We're looking